is never a home. It is a bullseye. When you are a woman living on a sun-cracked slab of pavement, a thin, plastic zipper is the only flimsy barrier standing between your safety and a predator. I wasn't just attacked, I was shattered. I lost my dignity and my sense of self in the very land that preaches the gospel of the ultimate freedom. Those are not merely lines scripted for cinematic drama. They are the haunting, jagged echoes of a survivor currently drifting through the neon-lit shadows of the Lone Star State. If you're watching this, and if her family is still out there, searching every street corner for a sign of life, know this, she is still breathing. She is still fighting. But she is profoundly, bone-deep tired of being a ghost in her own city. Welcome to Texas, a land defined by its soaring glass skyscrapers, the arrival of billionaire tech titans, and the relentless, legendary pursuit of the American dream. But tonight, while the artificial glow of Dallas, Austin, and Houston illuminates the horizon like a false promise, nearly 28,000 human beings are scouring the gutters for a discarded piece of cardboard to call a bed. More than 11,500 of them are completely unsheltered. They have no walls to lean on, no climate control to battle the suffocating humidity, and no sanctuary to lock their doors. They are sleeping beneath the very highway overpasses we drive over every morning, sipping our coffee on the way to work. They are decorated veterans who once bled for our flag. Mothers who were exactly one missed paycheck away from a total life collapse, and children who have been forced to accept the cramped, sweltering backseat of a rusted sedan as a bedroom. Who are they? Why is the chasm between the ultra-wealthy and the forgotten widening so drastically in a state built on the mythos of the second chance? Today on Homeless U.S. News, we are pulling back the curtain on the hidden humanitarian crisis of Texas. This is not a segment about sterile data points or government pie charts. It is a deep dive investigation into the very soul of a nation. If you believe that no human being should be invisible in the 21st century, hit that subscribe button now and join our community. Your engagement, your likes, your shares ensures these stories aren't buried by an algorithm that prefers luxury lifestyle vlogs over human reality. Now let us walk through the streets of Texas together. Before we dive deeper, drop a comment below. If you lost everything tomorrow, your keys, your bed, your roof, what is the one thing you would miss most about the simple concept of home? Part 1. The Invisible City, Understanding the True Scale. When we cite the figure of 28,000 people, it is tragically easy for the human mind to get lost in the abstraction of large numbers. To truly grasp the scale of this displacement, imagine an entire Texas town. Every ranch house, every elementary school, every local diner, and every church suddenly emptied of life, its citizens forced onto the scorching, unforgiving pavement. That is the stark, unvarnished reality of the 2025 to 2026 crisis. Texas is currently weathering a surge that the existing shelter infrastructure simply cannot absorb. In Houston, the counts have spiked with a terrifying 16% increase in people living in places not meant for human habitation. Drainage pipes, abandoned lots, and wooded thickets. These aren't just drifters or transients passing through. These are our neighbors. We are witnessing the rise of a new social class, the working homeless. These are individuals clocking 40 to 50 hours a week at grueling service jobs, yet they find it mathematically impossible to afford even a 400-square-foot studio apartment. Rents have doubled in the blink of an eye, while paychecks have remained frozen in a previous decade. In Dallas and San Antonio, we see senior citizens, the backbone of our community, being evicted because their Social Security checks can no longer keep pace with the skyrocketing cost of groceries and utilities. They carry their entire life's history in a single, battered rolling suitcase, migrating from one park bench to another, desperately trying to maintain a shred of the dignity they spent decades building. The scale of this struggle is vast, yet it remains silent because we have been conditioned to look away at the red light. Part 2. The 24-hour survival loop. Life on the streets of Austin or Fort Worth is not living. It is a relentless, exhausting, and circular battle for survival that never grants its victims a moment of reprieve. Imagine being jolted awake at 4 a.m., not by a gentle alarm, but by the harsh glare of mag lights and the heavy boots of police officers clearing the sidewalk. You have 10 minutes to pack your entire world into a rusted shopping cart. Your blankets are heavy and damp from the morning dew. Your spine aches from the unforgiving concrete, and your first thought isn't, "What's for breakfast?" but rather, "Where can I find a bathroom where I won't be chased out like a stray animal? How long can I sit in this library before they realize I have nowhere else to go?" This constant state of hypervigilance eventually erodes the human spirit. You can never truly fall into a deep sleep because your ears are always tuned to the sound of approaching footsteps or the clicking of a knife. You can never truly rest because your eyes must remain fixed on your meager belongings. In the brutal Texas sun, you might walk 5 miles just to find a functioning electrical outlet to charge a phone or a public fountain for a lukewarm drink of water. By the time the sun sets, you are physically and mentally spent, only to realize the safe spot you found yesterday has been fenced off. The loneliness is a physical weight, a crushing pressure on the chest that makes it hard to breathe. Thousands of Texans are trapped in this loop where the future is a luxury they cannot afford. Only the next 60 minutes matter. Part 3. The merciless elements, fire and ice. In the Lone Star State, the weather acts as a silent, impartial executioner. While we often complain about the heat from the climate-controlled comfort of our cars, for those without a roof, 100-degree days paired with 90% humidity are a form of slow, agonizing torture. In Houston and East Texas, the air becomes a thick, suffocating blanket that traps heat against the skin. Without shade or constant hydration, the body's cooling systems eventually fail. Heat exhaustion turns into heat stroke, and in the quiet of a back alley, there is often no ambulance coming to the rescue. Imagine your skin being raw, chafed, and salt-stained for days on end because you haven't seen a shower in 3 weeks. Imagine the flies, the grime, and the black asphalt that continues to radiate 120-degree heat long after the sun has dipped below the horizon. And then there are the winters. People mistakenly think Texas is a perpetual desert, but the blue northers bring bone-chilling winds and freezing temperatures that claim lives every single year. In a flimsy tent, a thin polyester sleeping bag is the only barrier between a human being and hypothermia. This is the raw reality, your breath freezing in the air while you pray for the sun to rise. There is no escape, no relief, and no sanctuary. It makes you realize that a simple wall-mounted thermostat is a luxury that thousands of our fellow citizens can only see in their dreams. Part 4. The collapse of human health. Homelessness is, at its core, a biological crisis. When you look at the encampments in San Antonio or Austin, you are witnessing the physical erosion of the human body in real time. Over 40% of the unsheltered population in Texas lives with a chronic physical disability. But how does one heal a wound while sleeping in the dirt? I have to keep moving, a man in Austin tells us. If I sit still, the infection in my leg gets worse. But if I walk, the blisters pop. There is no winning. How do you manage a condition like diabetes when you have no refrigeration for your insulin? How do you treat a recurring respiratory infection when you are forced to breathe in the concentrated exhaust fumes of a highway underpass 24 hours a day? On the street, small problems become death sentences. A simple blister from walking miles in ill-fitting shoes turns into a systemic infection. A common cold, fueled by a lack of nutrition and sleep, rapidly descends into pneumonia. The immune system, battered by stress and exposure, eventually gives up. This isn't just a policy failure. It is a quiet, public erosion of the human form. And the scars aren't just physical. The trauma of being ignored, shamed, and hunted from one city block to the next creates psychological damage that takes years to unlearn. We are watching a public health catastrophe unfold in plain sight. Part 5. The Fog of Despair. Mental health and substance struggles. We must be honest about the most difficult chapter of this journey. In the shadows of our urban centers, many have fallen into a deep, dark fog. Nearly half of the unsheltered population in major Texas hubs struggles with severe mental health issues or substance use disorders. However, we must ask the harder, more uncomfortable question: which came first? Did the mental struggle lead them to the street, or did the horror of the street lead them to the struggle? When you have lost your home, your family, your safety, and your hope, the human brain desperately looks for any way to numb the agony. The fog you see in the eyes of someone standing on a street corner is often the only way they can cope with the reality of sleeping in their own waste or being treated as a social pariah. Without a door to lock or a safe space to decompress, traditional treatment is virtually impossible. You cannot fix a mind that is perpetually locked in a primitive survival mode. The streets turn even colder when you're fighting an internal war that no one else can see. This requires more than judgment. It requires a level of compassionate, trauma-informed intervention that addresses the root of the pain, not just the symptoms. Part 6. The Broken Chain. How the dreams slipped away. How does a productive, tax-paying citizen end up under a bridge? In Texas, it is rarely a single, reckless choice. It is a chain of events, a series of dominoes falling. For many, it began with the irony of the Texas boom. As thousands of people flooded into the state, housing inventory vanished and prices plummeted out of reach for the working class. In places like Behar County, home values surged by nearly 50%, while local wages grew at a microscopic fraction of that rate. This has created a terrifying fragility in the middle class. One unexpected layoff, one messy, expensive divorce, one medical bill from a minor car accident. That is all it takes for the thin cushion of savings to evaporate. The late notices begin to pile up like snow. Then comes the day of the eviction. Watching your life's belongings, your sofa, your family photos, your children's favorite toys, being piled on a curb like trash is a trauma that stains the soul forever. The moment that key no longer fits the lock, you aren't just homeless, you are unanchored. You lose your physical address, which in our modern society means you lose your ability to vote, your ability to apply for a job, and often your ability to maintain a bank account. The system is meticulously designed to keep you inside the cycle once you fall. We share these stories because, in the current economy, it could be almost anyone. Stability is a gift, and it is far more fragile than any of us care to admit. Part 7. The Blueprint for Hope. Solutions that work. Despite the deepening darkness, there is a beacon of light at the end of the tunnel, and it is originating right here in Texas. Houston has become a global gold standard for ending homelessness. By pivoting to the housing-first model, they have proven a radical yet simple truth. The solution to homelessness is housing. It sounds elementary, but it is revolutionary in practice. The city provides a person with a permanent apartment first. No strings attached, no bureaucratic hurdles to jump through while they are still starving or hallucinating from sleep deprivation. Once a person has a bed, a hot shower, and a door that locks, the survival mode in the brain begins to shut off. The nervous system finally calms down. Only then can the real work of restoration begin. The intensive mental health counseling, the job placement programs, and the addiction recovery. When a human being feels safe, they can begin to heal. Houston has successfully moved over 25,000 people off the streets and into permanent homes. This is the ultimate proof that homelessness is not an unsolvable cosmic mystery or an inevitable part of urban life. It is a matter of political will, resource allocation, and community compassion. When we invest in people rather than just managing their misery, we witness miracles. We see grandparents reunited with their grandkids. We see veterans finding the peace they fought for. We see the American dream being rebuilt one brick at a time. Outro, a call to the heart. As we look toward the horizon of 2026, Texas stands at a critical crossroads. We can choose to be a state that only builds monuments for the wealthy and the powerful, or we can choose to be a community that ensures no one is left behind in the dust of our progress. The 28,000 people currently suffering on our streets are not them. They are us. They are a reflection of our economic systems, our social safety nets, and ultimately, our collective heart. What can you do? It starts with the simple, revolutionary act of awareness. It starts with seeing the human being behind the problem. We want to thank you for walking this entire journey with us today. It takes courage to look at the uncomfortable truth. If this story touched you or changed your perspective, please hit the like button and subscribe to Homeless US News. By sharing this video, you are helping us break the wall of silence that allows this crisis to persist. Let's end today with a moment of reflection. Let's hold a thought for those who are tucked into shop doorways or shivering in tents tonight. May they find a path to a door that closes. May they feel the hand of a friend. And may we all work toward a future where home is recognized as a fundamental human right, not a luxury for the lucky. What is your message to those struggling in Texas today? Leave a comment below. We read every single one. Stay tuned for our next deep dive into the heart of America. God bless and stay safe.